So that's what we are doing right now,
Okay.
is getting our intervention groups going,
Mhm.
making sure we have the right students identified for
Okay.
those groups. And what I need from you is, you wrote the grant.
Mhm.
What is our progress monitoring tools that we're going to use to
Okay.
make sure that
Okay.
we're monitoring this?
Okay. I have ordered, and by the way, on the video, this is myself and Miss Rex talking about the changes I wrote about in my improvement in education report. Some of the changes we made at our junior high. So you're just going to kind of observe what we're talking about. I've ordered Adminum Exact Path. That's what
okay.
Ms. McClung had suggested,
Mhm.
because that's the progress monitoring that backs down all the way to the individual
Wonderful.
TEAC. As far as that, I have in the budget to order the TEACS Bank for Edgeforia,
Okay,
which can be utilized also.
yes.
I've got to get with Ms. Callum on that, because she got the quote for that one.
Okay,
And I need that quote. And as far as reading, of course, we've been using
star rating.
Star Reading, STAR,
mhm.
1AR reading,
Mm-hmm.
and it'll back it down to the TEAC, but it's only if that TEAC was tested on that test.
Right.
So Alicia has been looking for something that'll do similar to what Exact Path does for math. If we can
Okay.
find something for reading, if we can find gaps back down into elementary, because we know that's where our gaps are coming from,
Mm-hmm.
is elementary up.
One of the things that I'd like to explore is, with your star reading, visiting with Reading Renaissance, because that star reading should back down more than what it is. And I'm afraid they have not upgraded you to their
2.0.
their updated
Mhm.
star.
Okay.
So let me contact our the rep, and
I
we'll
can
see.
give you that rep before you leave, who I've always dealt with.
That'd be great.
I remember her name. I think it's Joe McCrick. Let me look. And that's
Renaissance Learning.
what company? Pearson? No. Who's
No,
Renaissance?
Renaissance Learning is what it's called. Star AR.
Renaissance Accelerated.
They've had so many changes at that company that it's.
Kimberly Cunningham.
Kimberly.
That's who I've been dealing with.
Say that last name one more time.
Cunningham.
Okay.
Here's what it's showing.
Oh, so you have enterprise? Okay.
I think that's just an elementary grade though.
Okay.
So that's what we have right now.
Okay. Well, I have someone that I've always worked with. She's your core account executive. And she was my core account executive.
Okay, contact her.
She looked at it for me
Mhm.
and said, I think we can do some work on this.
Okay.
So let's get her to kind of work with us and see what, because there may be more power
Mm-hmm.
in that star reading, and then we don't have to do something different
Right, right.
and buy something different.
Well, I mean, because in the budget, we've already,
Mhm.
we have, no one is interested in the speaker system,
Okay.
so that's gonna save us $1,500. So
So
we have
money.
money to play with in our budget. So
That's good.
since we've already moved both parapros over as gap aides, make sure they have what they need, which I think they do.
I
If we
do.
get this reading, this
Mhm.
Renaissance reading, that'll help
Mhm.
K-Ball.
Mhm.
Of course, I know she's pulling in the old rewrite
She
stuff
is.
she knows and has been with. Baird will have access to the Exact Path once we get that. And she also knows the STAR math.
Mhm. And that's what we're using right now, is accelerated math,
Mhm.
and having them pick out those. But it'll be great to have this, because this is our copy.
And for supplementals, I'm ordering Measuring Up for reading and math.
Good.
Now, in the grant we put Study Island for science and social studies. I'm
Mhm.
not sure that we need it, but I don't know that it would hurt. So I haven't ordered that yet, but I can order that any time too. So
Have you talked to them about them giving you like a pilot time to where you can
Look
see?
at it?
Yes.
you know,
They usually will do that for you, and that will save you a little, and see if your teachers like it
Mm-hmm.
before you spend that much money on it. That's also with Edmond. That's the same company.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're buying this, they should give you a really good bundle on it.
Okay. Well, I'll email him here in a little bit. 'Cause he emailed me yesterday wanting to know about this. I said the PO's been sent through the central admin. I'm waiting now.
He should work you a deal on
Okay,
that.
I can do that.
But I have heard that that has really improved.
I have too. I know we used it in our elementary and it's good.
Yeah.
And because when I was elementary principal, we brought it down there. They had not used it before. We used it in Hyatt. Our teachers liked it, so we're looking at bringing it up. So
That's good.
the Wordly Wise has been
Mhm.
ordered. I need to check that.
And
That's the
for
vocabulary.
6th, 7th, and 8th?
Well, here's what we did. We ordered some all the way down to 4th grade, 5th grade, 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade, 9th grade,
To build it up.
10, 11, because we have several in this range
Mm-hmm.
and several in this range. So we bought for all.
So
we
you're doing your intervention and your acceleration.
Mhm.
That's good.
Yeah, so that was sent over, that's been ordered. That's our projectors we just ordered. So that's the two we're waiting on right now, which I think are two important ones.
Mhm.
I'll get with him on the Study Island. You've got your roots going now. The only thing you're working on is that 8th period group, you said?
We have a couple of kids, and right now we've only identified 2. One is sped, and I wanted you to make sure you knew about that. But if we can pull them out for math support, 8th period,
Out
with
of
Miss, it'll
social
be out of
studies?
that STAR history
Okay.
review. I don't think it'll change any IEPs, because if we worded it in the IEP where he's getting STAR remediation and
Right.
put a content with it, that's what we're doing.
Right.
We're doing remediation with him, so I
Mhm.
think we'll be okay there. What we plan to do is to back up, and after these 2 students take their STAR math, which will be early March, when they take the first one,
Mhm.
then we will put into place a targeted history, social studies review for them, and do
Okay.
that one-on-one,
All
or
right.
102, I think it is.
Mhm.
They'll make a lot more progress in that.
Yeah, I
than-
agree.
So I think we'll be okay pulling them with Ms. Warren, but we wanted your blessing on
Are we
that.
gonna start pulling in Monday, next Monday?
We can, so that way he can finish up what he's doing this week. Or we can wait and do it in January. If
We
you
talked
want to
to
look,
him.
and whatever works for that class.
Who are we looking to pull in? Do you
Bond.
remember? Okay.
And Tolles. The gentleman, there's
Mhm.
2 bonds,
Yeah,
right,
yeah,
it's the
yeah.
boy, because we already pulled the young lady.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Her first name is.
Laura.
Yeah,
Okay.
so it was those 2 that, and then we're pulling past records on a couple of others to make sure.
Okay. I don't worry about her
Mm-hmm.
passing the test. I do, you know,
Mm-hmm. She'll be fine on social studies because
Yeah,
it's a
she-
reading test.
she'll be fine. He's gonna struggle on anything, but
Mhm.
he's also one we're gonna pack it on to get him in school.
Mm-hmm. That's what I kind of heard.
Mm-hmm.
So what do we want to put our effort into? Is it in the social studies, or is it in
So are we
math?
pulling, is this for math or reading?
Math.
And she's on math. Math.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This one I just worry about her. I don't know her, so
Mm-hmm.
so Miss, and we have not talked to Crier about her.
Okay.
So that'll be our next step. But we wanted your blessing first.
They're ADD,
So that's probably
ADHD.
why.
I don't think mom has her own meds. Mom's a teacher.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
So a small
it's
bird
an
might be
innate
good.
word.
Yeah. So that may be a good
Mhm.
pull.
Mhm. Yeah.
And I think she has a relationship with Amanda.
Okay. Yeah, she
Uh,
should. Pretty
Yeah.
cheap.
So I think that relationship we could really,
I
and
like
we
that.
could get her, I would call this an acceleration with her almost. Get her to live up to her ability while we're
She's
pulling
doing
him.
very good in Alicia's class. So, yeah.
When you look at her reading, oh wow.
Yeah.
So it's strange that she's struggling in math. There's
Mhm.
got to be a gap there that
Right,
she
from
can't get
somewhere.
over. Yeah. So,
Once we get the junior high campus going, which
Mhm.
probably will be next semester, and I'm gonna say proverbial we, but I don't wanna step on toes, but we're gonna have to start backing down grades.
that was
and
my
looking
next
at our
question.
gaps. And Miss Whaley's on board with this.
Good, good.
She's gonna be fine with it, I think.
So maybe you and her and I can meet. The three of us
Mhm.
can meet.
Yeah, because that's where you're gonna catch some blowback from the teachers, I think, because that's
They're ingrained.
they've been here for 30 years and it's worked for 30 years, I haven't changed now. So I ran into that as a principal.
Oh, yeah. Well,
And Keystone and everything.
it was huge. I went and visited with Miss Hayes, and we were talking about what she was doing in the classroom, and I said, "You're doing great, but people need to see me in here." And she
Yeah.
looked at me and smiled. And so I've gone in her classroom a couple of times,
Mhm.
worked with kids. So when people see that you're going in all classrooms,
Right.
they're more
Yeah.
accepting.
Right.
Now my work with Michelle is going to help me in the elementary because working with her, people
Right.
seeing us work together, they'll be more accepting.
And that grade level is a low, very low. That's where it used to be, is right there in reading and writing. And has been for a while
But that's the direction. Okay, let me back up with our work we did yesterday.
with that teacher.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I didn't do I want to show, and I've not done any formal classroom observations on
Right.
instruction or anything, but when we get to that learning walk piece, I have a learning walk template that we use to kind of gather feedback for our teachers. I want you guys to look at it. I'm saying we probably don't even introduce that till later in the semester
Right.
because we're building relationships this year.
Mhm.
But with my work that we did yesterday with our 7th and 8th grade math, there is not an understanding of teacher resource.
Right.
So that maybe we may choose to start there.
Mhm.
With Miss Cryer, I've told her that we'll plan together every week.
Okay.
That's just going to be standard for me and her to kind of do some planning.
Well, I checked with coaches. She can stay after school.
Okay.
So, yeah.
She also said something about 6th grade PE that, because I'm going to be working with her and Erwin. She said her and Erwin are both in there. She said it might be where once a week Erwin could take the kids and that way we'd have 2 periods back to back.
That 6th period right
Mhm.
lunch, yeah.
She'd have her PE period plus her planning. Erwin is one I would also like to plan with. She has a lot of positives in visiting with her, looking at her lesson plans. We just need to fine tune some things.
Sure. Well,
And
she's first year teacher.
so I would love to
Okay.
work with her once a week on her planning, and there's some documents that she's not looking at that I'd like to show her the power in those, and I think she will take off and
I
fly.
think so too.
She's got some really good points. She is loving, from what I hear, Miss Ball coming in her classroom. We pushed in a little bit,
Yeah.
and I think Miss Ball is really helping her with her self-confidence and
Good.
working with kids. So
And
that's
once
been
we can
positive.
get Miss Carter out of her room, I think she'll flourish even more. I think that's a bit stifling. So.
Is with her being teacher of record, I don't know what the law is on that, but is it she has to be in the classroom during everything, or how much leeway do we have there? I don't know. Think about that.
She has to be in there some each period, but she's the teacher in her record. So I mean, she doesn't be there all period. No.
I think it would just give a little bit of breath of fresh air, a little bit, where if we could start, we know she's going to pass that test. I mean, she's
Start weaning her a little
started,
bit.
yes, start weaning her
The
off
question
a
is,
little
where do
bit.
I put Miss Carter? Where do because she doesn't mesh well with
Many.
me.
Mhm.
Right.
I don't know, let me think on that.
She was not my first choice.
You get your
My
hands
first choice kind
tied.
of is busy doing something else. But,
Small schools, it's tough.
personally, I think we should have when she's certified.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's early, but we do, so.
We might let's find her strength. Let me think on that one.
Okay.
Because the way working with people
Mhm.
is if you can look at them and say, you have a real strength at doing this. We're going to pull you a little bit so that you can do this for us. That everybody's good with it.
Yeah, so that'd be a good way to approach her.
Mhm.
Okay.
And I've been visiting with Mr. Gordon. I know he's not really math or reading,
Mhm.
but I did visit with him today. I met him in the hall and I didn't get a goodbye. And so I went back in when he was by
Mhm.
himself and I just sat down and said, hey, you look like you need to talk to somebody.
Mhm.
And so I just listened.
Mhm.
He wants to put in more technology with what he's doing, some videos. He's having trouble with the engagement of the students. And so I made some suggestions. I said, what if I helped you set up your lesson in a PowerPoint or a sheet?
Mhm.
And we can embed those videos and I can show you how to do that. Now, that may be something I can have her help me with him a little bit or something, where we're helping him with his content.
I've got to do with him and make sure he plans on being here the rest of the year too, because, you know, he's retired, and,
I know definitely, he told me definitely in May that
Okay.
he probably won't be here next year.
okay.
He said, I just don't think I can do this anymore. And he said, I want to get through this year.
Mhm.
And I said, and you want to get through it positively.
Mhm.
And he said, yeah, I do. So I
Yeah.
know his heart's in the right
Yeah, it
place.
is.
He's very
It is.
frustrated with seventh grade.
Mhm.
And, but the seventh graders, and I did say this to him, so I'll own up to it right now, but I looked at him and I said, well, we've been in education a long time, and who do we know we can control? And he just kind of looked at me and I said, the only person we can control is ourselves.
Mhm.
I said, we decide what we can do to change their behavior. And I said, so what we've got to decide is what we need to change so that we change the outcome you're getting from your students.
Yeah.
And I said, that may be your learning strategies, that may be, you're wanting them to read information. How are we having them read it? So I went into some stuff with him and I probably left him going, oh my gosh, what have I asked this lady to do? But he's got to change, he's got to shake up what he does a little bit.
Right.
And
He's struggling. And he and I talked this morning, matter of fact, so I helped him with some discipline issues, so.
well, I'm going to put a bug in your ear.
Okay.
And I don't know your faculty, and I know as principals we kind of, but if there was a change in December, I don't know how you've certified Miss Cryer. I don't know what but if she moved over to social studies, and if there was someone out there that is math certified, I'm just going to put that bug in your ear.
We actually have a substitute subbing today, actually. No, she subbed yesterday. She graduates in December. She's the next student here, and her certification will be in math. And she's doing it. So I just found out about that.
Okay.
So
Well,
I've already told her,
I think we could work with Miss Cryer, and she'd be an excellent history teacher because she has those reading skills. That's her strong point, probably.
Yeah.
It's not math.
Yeah.
She is struggling.
She thought it was math too. And she even told me that. And several people thought, oh, she's good at math. She's good at maybe first grade math. So,
When you and I were in 8th and 7th grade math, it's about what they do in 4th and 5th.
it is.
And
You
I
got
think
algebraic
that's,
expressions in third grade math.
she was good when she was a 7th and an 8th grade
Right.
in math. And that's what our teachers don't understand.
Mhm.
It's changed.
Oh, yeah. High school math is in junior high now.
It is.
And junior high math is in elementary.
8th grade is algebra. It's a lot of algebra. So
Yes.
I don't think she knew what she was getting into.
Right. Yeah, I think you're right.
But if you made that change,
Mm-hmm.
it's a win for kids, it's a win for you.
That's true.
Because she's a good teacher,
Mhm.
but she is in a content that she does not understand. So she's
Right.
having to teach herself
Mhm.
before she teaches the kids.
Yeah.
And that's what she's struggling with.
Yeah. Yeah. She's teaching her high school math when she was in high school. So.
She wants to go back to Saxon all the time. And I just told her, I said, Saxon won't cut it in
Right.
7th and 8th grade
Not up
today.
there. First
Not
grade,
the
yes.
Saxon you had.
Right.
The new Saxon might, but not the
Mhm.
Saxon you had.
Yeah. That's
So,
true. That's
so,
true.
but she's very cooperative with me.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah, she is
I
always.
bought her a little junior mints box and wrote her a little note and took it to her this morning. You know, how you doing? How'd your team do last night?
Yeah.
We visited for a little bit, and so she's very positive. You know, really working hard on relationships with people. I know you see me talking a lot and everything,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
trying to get people to see that I'm there to
Mhm.
help
Mhm.
and to
Oh,
be
I'm
that
hearing nothing but good things. So yeah.
Well, let me know when you don't, because you probably will. and then we'll
Haven't yet.
we'll work with that. You know
Oh, yeah.
how, you know
Oh,
what
it's,
it is.
it's coming. Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, it is.
You better be
But-
happy.
Miss Boyd is one that I want to start working with.
Mhm.
She has a special ed aide, I believe, that's with
Jones.
her quite a bit. And that's Miss Jones.
Mhm.
I had not put that name with
Yeah,
her.
Ms. Jones.
That's Miss
Very
Jones.
good aid.
So I will work with both of them
Okay.
because I think they both just need direction
Mhm.
and how they support each other.
Mhm.
Miss Boyd is very open. I haven't gotten to spend a lot of time. So
Mhm.
from now to Christmas, my goal is to keep making those relations, to start asking about lesson plans and
Mhm.
instruction. I'm going to go from an instruction piece,
Okay.
and that we and use the teacher resource as
Mhm.
my way to get in. I want your opinion about. I have to tone myself down a little bit
Mhm.
because I am I go about 500 miles an hour.
Mhm.
But I would like to put together at least once a month, maybe twice a month, a little s'more with whatever we want to hit. Maybe teacher resource would be one section where I give them a helping tidbit. And have you looked at this?
Mhm.
And we put a direct line in there or a video in there where they see, and I can make screenshot videos. And
That'd be good, especially with the teacher resource, because like I say, we didn't know we had it last year. We had access to it and no one told us. And then this year we've had a little bit of input from Region Center, but not much.
I think it'll be powerful.
Mhm.
And we can do the little, just, hey, did you know you could do this?
Mhm.
I'd like to do that with Eduphoria also. Give them
Okay.
little tidbits of what they can do. I found the formative spiral assessments
Mhm.
in teacher resource this morning. I knew they were supposed to be there. I could not find them yesterday. I called one of my colleagues that we worked with for a while. She does nothing but high school and junior high math,
Mhm.
and she didn't even know they were in there. So I'm going to start developing those for
Okay.
our 7th and 8th grade, so that we spiral back and we're
Mhm.
catching all those teaks that we were low on,
Mhm.
and we'll continue to do that. And I'll gradually teach the teachers how to do that, empowering them to do it on their
Mhm.
own instead of
Mhm.
waiting on me. But I think right now we need to supply
good.
them. Okay.
Yeah, that'd be real good.
Then we'll that's more. I'll kind of start working on that
Okay.
and not start it till January. We'll kind of wait till then. But I think if we can put together a tool for them
Mhm.
where everything they need, I'm going to work with Amanda on that a little bit too, if that's okay, because all of her her STAR trainings and stuff
Mhm.
we can put in a s'more,
Mhm.
and she can embed those things to where they can pull them up and everything's in one place for them.
That'd be good.
And so that's kind of something that's very easy to train on.
Perfect.
So
Right.
our goal is like teach resource, working on our
Mhm.
lesson plans and focusing on our instruction, and Eduphoria where we're looking at our data and teaching them how they can do different views
Mhm.
and really drill that down.
Works for me.
Online testing or Eduphoria testing, I hear that you're working on a scanner for us.
Mhm. It's part of the budget.
Okay.
Now, the only thing with that, is it for Renaissance? Or the STAR math, STAR reading test?
No.
Okay.
It will be like we,
Or we're just
like our
talking,
formative assessments that we're
or we're
doing.
just talking about a copier scanner?
Mhm.
Okay, yeah.
With Eduphoria, you have to have certain scanners that will talk to Eduphoria. It's listed on the website. I can get that for you.
Get that for me because
Mhm.
I can't remember if it was Eduphoria or Renaissance now, said that they have a new version of the
Ooh.
program now that does not require those anymore. And I can't remember if it was Eduphoria or Renaissance.
Well, I have Paul's cell phone number, and I'll
Okay,
text
check
him.
on that.
He's my
Because
new
the
friend
lady-
at Region 12.
The lady I spoke with said you don't need to spend money on the scanners anymore because
I'll check
we
with
do
Paul.
that. But I can't remember if it was Eduphoria or Renaissance. That's why I asked about Renaissance. It might have been Renaissance.
The formative assessments, I'd like to start talking about common assessments that we do for the campus. That's a real good monitor too. But if we don't have Eduphoria where we can scan in those documents and it grades it for us and we get the data back, it's not going to help our teachers
Yes,
as
exactly.
much. So
Check on that because I had called to get a quote and she said, "Why are you
Why
don't
are
have
you
to
trying?
quote this anymore?" And it might have been Eduphoria because we have the new 2.0 version or something where you don't have to do that. It does it all digitally online for you.
So we'll just have to be trained on how to do that.
Mhm.
We'll get it.
Check on that for me.
I visited with Paul this morning through text. He sent me a video to where I can upload the interim assessments
Mhm.
into Eduphoria for us.
Okay, good.
So we'll get that specific data for
Good.
the teachers there.
Okay.
It's good in TAMS, but it doesn't break it down to TEKS.
Right.
We want it broken down
Yes.
to the TEK.
Yes.
So
Okay.
we'll get that done, working on that. So I've asked you about, I have to go back in my brain, about the next steps. So I'm gonna focus on junior high, and then
Okay.
in January, we'll start talking about
We'll back
how
up.
we're,
Mhm.
how we're gonna work with the elementary and backing up the curriculum and that type of things.
And I may get you to also do some looking at ninth grade, because we inherited that very low eighth grade group
Mhm.
that helped the junior high get our,
Right.
is now ninth grader, so, and we have a first year math teacher here too.
Oh, wow.
She's good,
Yeah.
but I mean, she's first year teacher, so she's gonna need some support too. Miss Havens has been coming in and supporting her, Miss Whaley's been supporting her, so,
Good.
but
Well,
the more the better.
if we've got, there may be days where we just pull those two math teachers
Well,
together.
she came to one of, well, no, she came to one of the Denise Bell meetings, I don't know, Miss McDaniels.
I'm gonna be here Friday, is that okay?
Mhm.
Because I'm scheduled this week, since I've taken off so
Mhm.
much time, I have this whole week.
Okay,
But I can be here Friday, and that way I can meet Miss Bell and kind of
Okay.
see all the players that are
Good.
going in and make sure I'm in
Yeah.
tune with what she wants. I think that'll be good.
sounds good to me.
Thinking about curriculum, and you're right, we're fixing to hit some roadblocks. I want you to think, I don't really want any answers today,
Right,
but what are we going to implement? What are we going to require this semester, next coming semester? Because our goal is to get out.
Skylar Rogers needs permission to ride with the basketball girls on the bus to take pictures. Who does she need to get permission from to do said riding?
that's after school, is who the coach is, she can't leave early.
Right. I don't think the girls aren't leaving early, are they? No. Okay, yeah. So she needs to get Coach Lee's
Coach
permission.
Lake.
Okay.
What are we going to do? In the grant, is there training that we can do this summer? Can we bring in teachers and train them on Eduphoria, on Teach Resource, write curriculum with them, have them time?
$6,000 in professional
Yes.
development.
So we can even have some days where we come in and do some purposeful planning with them,
Mhm.
so that when they hit the doors, they already have till Christmas planned,
Mhm.
and we know what we're doing. I mean, that would be very powerful for them.
Something I do need to start, for them to start doing like pretty quick is, as in tomorrow, when they bring those kids in every day to remediate them,
Mhm.
have them sign in, need a sign-in sheet.
The kids need to
Because
sign
the
in.
kids need to, so we can keep a running total, and that's for grant purpose.
Okay,
So, and I don't know that I've told them yet, because we're just really getting started on
we
it,
can do
so.
that, and we can do that.
Okay, and I know it's gonna be cumbersome, but.
And you
if we
need
can
them
just-
to actually write it. You want their name writing.
Yeah,
Okay.
have them just sign in, and we can do a folder,
Mhm.
where they just flip the page for the next day and sign in for those, or we'll figure something out. But Barbara Agee emailed me, we need to document that we're doing this, just to justify the grant, if they ever audit us, so.
We'll have good documentation.
Mhm.
I've started a Google folder. I'm a Google nut,
Mhm.
and with that, everything I do is in there. What I'm accomplishing, and the both of our GAP instructors are going to keep you a log
Okay.
of what they're doing with students, who they're working
Good.
with, and so we've already started that digital log.
Good.
And probably need to know how specific. They're going to ask you, how
Mhm.
specific do you want this? So, but they have started that, and we'll kind of look at all that
Good.
data and
Yeah,
clean
good
it
look
up,
at it, and
and
we'll kind of tweak it as we go.
like you want it.
We're all new at this. It's a learning experience, it's very fluid,
Grants are fun.
they are. But yeah, I've got 2 of the scanners down,
Okay.
and some extra cartridges, so check, make sure we need those, because when I did the grant, I left them in there, but when I called and talked to whomever it was, they said, oh, you don't need that anymore, but like I say, it's built into the grant, so.
I'll just check with Paul, because he's our Eduphoria
Okay.
guy,
Mhm.
and see what he says, and that will be huge for the teachers.
I have any email stating that in my New Year reference. So pretty much be ready to make them. Let's see. Teach resource.
Who's your teacher resource person that trains with you? You
It
have-
was Region 12 person that did it. And I can't remember. He's the one that forgot. We had a webinar. Actually, we had a training,
Oh,
on-site training, on-site training, and
Oh, wow.
he didn't show up. And we called, and I don't remember. What's Paul's last name?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Oh, I have
It
it on
was-
my phone.
It was an interesting last name, I remember that, but,
It could be Paul,
it might have been Paul. And
because
we
he
ended-
may wear several hats.
And we ended up doing a webinar instead, so, but,
Guard, what is that? Guardiola?
yeah, that's who, yeah.
Yeah.
He
That's
forgot
who-
about us, so we did a,
So Paul does teach resource. too.
I think that's who it was, yeah.
Okay,
So-
that makes sense now.
But, yeah, I don't see who else emailed here. So check with Paul on that, and, cause I don't mind ordering scanners at all, if we need them, I have them built in the budget, so. And, let me know.
Well, that will be, that, your teachers are asking for that, so, or the ones that know Eduforia are asking for that. Some of them don't know
Right,
Eduforia.
I'm gonna share this budget with you,
Okay.
so you can kinda see what we
That would be
have
great.
in here, proposed our budget.
When does the grant start next year, so we know we've started over with budget? Is it a August, September, or October start?
I don't know.
They're real weird at that sometimes,
Yeah,
so
it is.
knowing when you can start spending again is,
I'll email Barbara on that one. Share it with you so you have access to it on Google. Yeah, proposed our budget, yeah, make sure, yeah, that's it.
all right,
I've tweaked it 100 different times, but
oh,
we have it on there.
constantly.
And we'll be doing amendments probably in January. We'll come back and look at what we spent, what we don't need, and reassess in January. You know, Barbara right now, I'm thinking about it. Have you met her?
I have not.
Okay. She's phenomenal.
I haven't met Denise either. You know, you're at the top of Region 12, and I was at the bottom of Region 10. So, we did some things with, I worked with Region 11, worked with some things with Region 12, but mostly with Region 10. So it's kind of getting to know people at Region 12.
We'll see. Yeah, that should be everything. But we have money for professional development. I've spent a little bit of it. I'm waiting to, I don't have it all written down here. Sherry's gonna give me an update on how much we, cause she hadn't done all these POs that I've sent through. I
And-
checked this
and-
morning.
One of the things we can do, and this will help your grant too, is put together a Google survey for our teachers
Mhm.
about what they feel
Right.
would be impactful with staff development this summer, and you know,
Yeah.
give them a couple of options.
Oh, yeah, that'd be good.
And that
And
way
that's,
we
I
get
did
their
that,
buy-in.
that's how I came up with that
Yeah.
fund, for that
Yeah.
month, that number there is,
Mhm.
I surveyed every teacher, they sent me, they
Mhm.
found ones they wanna go to, sent them to me, and I did the budget
That's
off
good.
that, so.
That's good. You know, one of the things you need to or I would consider is if we do some things in-house, small districts, a lot of times the teachers don't ask for much.
Right.
But can we give them, if they come a full day, can we give them a half a day of comp, or do you do comp time? See, I don't know what you do.
No, we don't do that.
So you've got to figure out, okay, you come, what, you know, do we give them a certificate for coming? There has to be, I feel like you have to do
Oh, in the
something.
summer?
Yes, in the summer.
We have money built in for
So you're
after
going to
time.
pay
we
them
could
for
pay
their
them
time to
We
come.
could pay them
They would love
a
that.
PD stipend of some kind.
They would love, and that will get them here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we have built-in money for after school and Saturdays. We have a bunch of money. We have $15,000.
Well, and sometimes my teachers would, and they love the $100 or whatever
Mhm.
you do. But if we provided them with resources, for instance,
Right.
if we're doing a book, or we
Mhm.
say, okay, this is really, and we buy the resources
Mhm.
for them so that they go home with things.
Yeah, yeah.
That they
I
can
was
actually
when I was
read.
a science teacher, I was a member of the science consortium
Mhm.
at Region 12, and you had to go once a month,
Mhm.
and at the end of the year, you got anywhere from $1,000, $2,000 worth of goodies, and we came back with laptops and iPads and
Yes.
science equipment. It was, and there's a math consortium also, and
Which makes your life easy.
and we haven't been members of that the past few years. When I first came here, we joined, and now we have not. So that may be something we need to look at again.
We could get our new math teachers involved.
Mm-hmm.
With Michelle's lead in that elementary.
Yeah.
Gargis, Michelle and Gargis seem to be big
Mhm.
together.
Mm-hmm.
We've got a good pack there. If we can get that 4th, 5th, 6th, all the way up into
Right.
high school,
Yeah.
that's going to be. And I haven't got to meet your 3rd grade teachers yet.
Mhm.
They're kind of off by themselves
Yeah,
or
they're out in
something.
the
aren't
building.
they? Yeah, that 3rd grade area. But getting that fluid, that
Mhm.
alignment there is huge.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, last thing that I wanted to bring up, reading adoptions.
Mm-hmm.
We need to start getting some samples here.
I've already emailed for some
Good,
because they're starting to blow me up since I'm curriculum director.
good for you.
And I've asked for some. I don't know that I've gotten them yet. We've been invited to a barbecue luncheon. I've emailed that out to all the teachers where they're going to present some.
Okay,
I think that was Pearson, if I
Good.
remember correctly. Over at Sam's in Fairfield.
okay,
Going to do a lunch or a dinner, free barbecue meal, and let us show your books.
that'd be good.
So I'm starting to get that.
Just realize, because I don't think a lot of people realize this, you don't have to buy an adoption.
Mm-hmm.
You have to adopt books,
Right.
but you don't have to purchase them.
Mm-hmm.
So when we're looking at Teach Resource, if we need guided readers or we
Mhm.
need those materials more than we need a reading book,
Right.
you decide what
Mhm.
you need for
Right.
your campus.
In your upper grades, that's more prevalent now. Elementary, they still like that old,
Basil.
basal reader,
Mhm.
and which I understand. That you teach them to read. You assume at junior high and high school they know how to read when they get there, but
If I
That's
get them
wrong.
turned on to guided reading,
Mhm.
they'll not want a Basil.
Mhm.
They're going to want
Right.
the guided reading process.
Yes.
So it just depends on what Ms. Whalen wants to do.
And if you go look in our book room at the elementary,
Mhm.
there's lots of guided reading books sitting up on the shelves.
So they're not using them.
Mm.
Well, there's so much power in that.
Mhm.
But that takes training. I mean, it
And
takes
it's
training to
more
learn
labor
how to do
intensive too,
it. It
so
is.
for the teacher.
It is.
So,
Depends on your reading teachers. A lot of them probably have used it before.
Mhm.
And
Well, we had a reading first grant years
so
ago.
they have used it.
So they have used it.
Mhm.
Well, some of the, most elementary has,
Mhm.
some of them haven't. Kindergarten's 2 young teachers,
Oh, and they'll be fun.
first grade's young, new teachers, second and third are older, more
Can
veteran
we
teachers.
take them to schools that are doing that? And-
They've been going to Malakoff, which
Okay,
I don't know what Malakoff does. You can talk to Miss Whaley
Okay.
and Miss Allen. Malakoff's a blue ribbon, I think they're blue ribbon, if not, they're real
Okay.
close, but they blow the star scores out of the water every year.
I'll do some research on that.
Do some research on Malakoff, because they've been going. And you can talk to some of the teachers, man, Lindsay, my daughter,
Mm-hmm.
they went not about a month ago
Okay,
to Malakoff. But Miss Whaley's been, and Miss Allen's been several times. And they kind of use that as a pattern for the elementary,
wonderful.
so.
It's always nice to see it.
And I have that built in here, site
Mhm.
visits
Oh, good.
for junior high. And I've got a list of junior highs, we may want to take ours to probably after the holidays.
Mhm.
I talked to Denise about it last time she was here, and she's like, it's crazy right now, you may not want to go right now.
Mhm.
She said it may be best you go right after first of the year, because you can talk to them about STAR prep and
Mhm.
how they're getting prepared, what they're doing, their tutorials. So she sent me a list of schools, nothing real close, but that's why I built in a budget, a travel budget.
Your top 40, I looked at your distinctions
Mhm.
where you're listed with your your group of 40.
Mhm.
Scurry Rosser's in there. That's not too far.
No, it's not too far.
And it's about your size.
Mhm.
You know, so what we might do is look at that group too, and
Yeah.
of course we need to look at their A through F and see how
Mhm.
they scored. But
Well, the ones she sent me were only Region 12s. That's why.
Yeah.
And none over here on the east side. Most of them are west side. Goldthwaite, she said, is probably going to be the best one. But you're talking 2.5 hour drive from here too.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah,
but yeah, Scurry Rosser's not that far.
it's not.
maybe
You know,
an
it's just
hour,
right on the
15
other side of Ennis.
Yeah.
It's about your size.
Mhm.
So let me pull up
Heck,
that
with the
list of.
basketball team, they just whooped us.
Did they?
So, but,
Yeah. Well, they've got a lot of good teachers because I trained some of them.
mhm.
But looking at them, they may be very comparable to us. I'm
Mhm.
real good friends with the superintendent. I've worked with him before.
Okay.
He and I worked in the same district actually.
Mhm.
So, working with, getting someone where you see. Now, if I were going to show someone a kindergarten classroom,
Mhm.
I would take them to Ennis ISD because they have ECC campuses that
Mhm.
are pre-K kinder, and they are top
Mm, I bet they are.
notch.
Yeah.
Because that's all they focus on,
Mhm.
and they can be.
Right. Oh, yeah.
But I would love for your
Mhm.
daughter to see one of their classrooms
That would be
and how they do the guided reading, guided
Mhm.
math,
Mhm.
and it'll blow them away a little bit.
Mhm. That would be neat. Talk to Ms. Wiley about that.
I
She
will.
may be very open to that. That'd be good.
That would probably be really good.
And
for
we can
them.
use some of this money for that,
Mhm, mhm.
if need be.
The elementaries, I'd have to look. They have a different setup there. They're 1-3s.
Mhm.
And then their intermediates are 4, 5, 6, so that it's a little bit different from what you are. So I don't know how comparable that is, but I put their early childhood centers up against anybody in the state, and they are visited
Mhm.
statewide. We have had
That's
people
neat.
come
That's
all
neat.
over. Now, so we'll do some research on your top 40,
Okay.
and maybe break out of the Region 12 barrier.
I'm good with
And,
that.
and do, if we find somebody
Mhm.
Region 6 that's on that list, let's do a little bit of research and see where we want to do some on-site visits. One of the best visits I ever did was Pflugerville. Had nothing to do with, but we visited Pflugerville ISD when I was up in Slayton.
Mhm.
I love it. And Pflugerville had some really neat systems in place
Neat.
that we mimicked.
I've been to their Henriksen High School, which is
Mm.
impressive.
It's a huge system, you wouldn't
Mhm.
think, but they have some really,
Mhm.
I did it through special ed.
Mhm.
So let's just kind of look and see
Okay.
what's out there.
Plan something after
Mhm.
semester, I can
Yeah.
do it for spring.
We're just going to get through these next 3 weeks.
Mhm. Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Um,
that'd be good.
Telling you a little bit more in depth about Grider. I think we've kind of went over what we've got planned. I'll start working on plans for next semester. Making some pacing calendars. We really don't have the TEKS pacing calendars year to glance set up for us.
Okay.
So working on 7th and 8th grade math, working with your 6th grade reading.
How is McClellan and her handling 7th grade now? Is McClellan taking lead role with 7th grade, or is she still supporting role?
She's just supporting.
Okay.
I did
And it's
visit.
working out okay?
It will.
Okay.
I visited with McClellan before Thanksgiving, and
Mhm.
she was frustrated because Grier just told her, "Here, it's yours."
Yeah.
And she came and talked to me, and I said, "It can't be yours. You're not their teacher."
Not teacher of record.
And so I sat down with Miss Crier, and we had a really heart to heart. And I said, "No, you're the teacher of record. We're here to support.
Mhm.
Miss McClellan has her
Right.
responsibilities, but I said she has some experience as an instructional coach,
Mhm.
so she's going to come in and assist you.
Right.
But she's not going to take over."
Good.
And so I think that conversation helped, and it also helped Michelle because she was like freaking out.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. She's got a lot on her plate.
Yes.
Mhm.
And so I think we're okay there, and especially after yesterday,
Mhm.
because we did not tell Crier what she was doing.
Mhm.
We presented, we showed her the data,
Mhm.
and she helped choose what she was doing. So we really put it up to her.
Good. Well, I went and talked with her later about the journal,
Okay.
and she said she may need some of the 3-ring binders we have, but she says she thinks they can use what they have for now. I said, you let me know what you need, and I'll get it for you.
Yeah.
So, and she
Yeah.
did. She seemed more comfortable,
Yeah, I think she's
relaxed.
okay.
So,
She was feeling like a failure. She
Mhm.
felt like we were coming in and telling her, "You're not doing it right."
Oh, she
And
just
I-
won't throw in the towel.
Yeah, I told her, I said, "That's not what we're saying."
And I told her, it's gonna be like this for a good 3 years before you really feel confident in what you're doing. I said, that's teaching.
That is so funny because I got her to admit that. And I don't know if we've talked about this or not, but she was visiting and I said, so when you felt like you had first grade down, how many years had you taught it? And she said, oh, 2.5, 3 years. And I
Yeah.
said, exactly.
Yeah, that's
I
what
said,
I'll take
your
here too.
first year teacher teaches 7 and 8.
Yeah.
In 3 years,
Mhm.
you'll probably look at me and go, this is the greatest thing in the world.
Oh,
And she
yeah.
goes, I don't know if I think it's great.
Yeah,
But,
takes time.
but it did make her realize
Yeah.
that. Erwin is very confident.
Mhm.
I may step on her toes a little bit because she is so confident.
One thing, and I've already talked to her about it a little bit, but she's immature. It's her age.
It is.
Well, I say that. My daughter's 25 and she's not quite so immature, but it's immaturity, and she still wants to be friends with the students.
She
And I
does.
told her, you can't be their friend. You can be friendly with them, but you can't be their friend. And it's tough for a coach because a coach has a different relationship
They do.
than a teacher, and she can't shut off coaching and teaching or flip-flop yet. And that'll come with time, but that's kind of where she is right now.
Experience,
Mhm.
yes. Yeah, she's going to be a fantastic teacher.
She will.
But some of my feedback from her is she didn't know how to take me at first. And so I'm working through that with her.
Yeah.
But when I sit down with her and start saying, okay, look at this,
Mhm.
she's one I'm going to have to really foster my relationship with.
Alicia's her mentor teacher,
Alicia and I met with her one day together.
and she's gonna go in this week and do a
Awesome.
mentor
Awesome.
visit with her. And
That'll be
she
good.
says it's been crazy. Alicia's trying to flip things over, kind of how she's doing her classwork. So she's been busy doing that, and she said that she's neglected early. I said, and she said she'll be in there this week. So
That'd be good. Well, but with me helping out too, that'll relieve some tension on
Mhm.
her.
yeah, well,
And I don't think we're going to have to be doing it much longer. This
No,
girl's,
I
this
don't
girl's going to get it.
she
But
will.
you got some neat things that possibly could happen for you that's going to change some
Mhm.
instruction. And the system is good.
Mhm.
We're going to, I'm working with Crier on totally flipping her classroom
Mhm.
to a different structure.
Mhm.
It has to be flipped
Yeah.
because she's got to change the way she does it.
Right.
I'm going to have her look at a model that Joe Bowler put together.
Mhm.
She wrote the Math Mindset. I don't know if you're aware of her work, but she does the cubed
Mhm.
math, and it's a totally different philosophy. But she has a great structure of group work.
Okay.
And so I visited with Jenna about that, and she said, I'd love to see that. So I'm going to
Good.
work with her a little bit on that. It'll help her understand that math has changed.
Mhm.
Math is no longer
Mhm.
taught by content,
Mhm.
it's taught by process.
Mhm.
You teach the content through the process skills.
Yep.
And so when I was explaining that to her, it's difficult to put that into action if you don't
Mhm.
see it.
Mhm. That's
So
right.
I think Joe Bowler's work will help her see that. And I think she's a visual learner.
Mhm.
I'll send you the link to that too,
Okay.
so that you can see that module. And it's something that in my former district we started using that totally changed the way we taught math.
Mhm.
And our scores have responded.
Good.
So I think when you've got young teachers
Mhm.
that
Mhm.
can do this active teaching
Yeah.
and are willing
Very
for
good.
change, it
Mhm.
possibly could be
That would be real
a
good.
game changer. But want to know if she's going to be the one we're going to be working with next
Mhm.
semester too.
Mhm.
So once you look
I'll try to
into
get you the
that.
answer pretty quick.
All right, and then you're going to talk with Coach about 8th period and
Mhm.
let us know
That's okay.
about that.
Yep. I don't think that'll be a problem.
And probably not with those two kids.
Yeah.
Let me know if we need to visit with that one mom about her child being pulled before we do it. I don't want any, since she's a teacher here.
She's being pulled from the social studies,
Yes.
so I don't think that'll be a
Okay,
problem.
all right.
So, but I will give her the courtesy being a
Sometimes
staff parent. I mean,
sometimes that
you
helps.
always do that.
Well, and you just get busy.
Yep.
All right.
Sounds good.
I think you set up a really good plan. Now we're getting to get some things done.
We're getting there. Baby steps.
It is baby steps. It doesn't go as fast as you and I want it.
No, that's true.
When is our next big look at how our kids are doing before STAR? I was going to work with Amanda on a testing calendar so we
Mhm.
could kind of coordinate that with the grant. But we're going to probably need to give another interim exam or something and that junior high to kind of see
I don't
where
think
they're
she
at.
has one scheduled until January.
That's good.
Yeah.
Maybe give us till February.
I think it was either late January or early
Okay.
February. Yeah, I'm trying to see if I put it on here.
Now, seventh grade writing, I know that's, she's got to look, but, and we have our math and reading and
Denise Bell's here again, January 11th.
okay.
I don't have it. She was supposed to send me the dates. I don't think she sent it yet.
Okay. Well, if we can get that,
So I can't.
That's
What's
the big, I don't really call them, benchmarks anymore because we're
Yeah.
doing them online, but, and we can do a paper one. if
It was
the teachers
January
want that.
because we didn't want to do it, try and squeeze it in before Christmas, is what it was. So yeah, I just don't have the date on here. But I'll get that for you.
Well, then we need to look at if we're gonna do the interim on the computer again, or are we going to have them take a release star? Are we, we kinda need to think about what we want that test to look like.
Right.
And,
And did you say you have found the testing part in Eduphoria, the test bank?
and you're going to order more.
And we're going to order, if we need it. Do we need it?
Let me go and look. Because right now, all you have is your TRS items in there, correct? I'll go look. I have not pulled up, I did
Not
teach
sure.
resource, but I haven't pulled up the Eduphoria test bank.
Look and see, because I have no problem ordering that. I'll have to get with Amanda. She's the one that talked to somebody. And she might talk to Paul about that. I don't know. Getting that set up. I think it was through Region 12. It might have been Denise Bell that told her about that. So, but we can get that, not a problem.
And I may visit with Paul when I visit with him about the scanners. There is there's the test bank the bank of questions, and there's another test bank. I may ask him which one's the better too.
Okay.
Because we want the one that's gonna give us the most for our teachers. And that will be real good, because that'll give us we can make up our own assessments
That's good.
then.
Now, in January, I'm also going to want to start planning some Saturday events.
Okay.
So, we start thinking.
Saturday school type.
We budgeted for like a 4-hour mini camp on Saturday morning, so we can bring them in and sneak some learning in there, if they want to realize that.
Okay.
Learning, but, and then also some summer stuff, so they don't lose it over the summer. But, and we can also utilize some ACE time for the summer, because that's mandatory, that ACE service to kids, so we can kind of.
And you supply them with the resources or with what we need those kids to cover.
Right.
Do they use the software and the computers that you have here? Like if we have the path?
Yeah, they use all of our stuff.
So, okay, good.
Yeah.
So exact path, we can put those kids in that. Who's your ACE person?
Emily Griggs, she's new this year. It was Amanda Callum, so we hired her. So Miss Griggs, and her office is over in elementary, and she usually gets here about 9:30, 10 every morning. And she's been doing a really good job. She's real
So she'll be able to
progressive, yeah.
help
And
us.
we
with
got
that.
another 2. They extended the grant 2 more years.
Wonderful.
We had heard this was going to be the last year of the grant because of new president and new legislative, but they extended it 2 years. It was a 3-year cycle, but they extended 2 with a 3rd option.
Awesome.
So we're going to look at. So they're here for a while, so that's good. That's good. So.
With our Saturday school, with our food program, can they supply something like a breakfast or something on those days? Sometimes you get free.
That's where we had talked about that, and that's where it gets tricky. I'll have to check on that.
Because you're your own food service here, aren't you?
Yeah. We will probably actually have to buy snacks for the kids, or yeah, we can do that. We have built-in money. We have plenty of built-in money, I think, for Saturday camps. So we may have to get some kind of mid-morning snack, or
Yeah, because some of them will come to us without any breakfast.
yeah, 1.5 hours morning, 30-minute break, recess, snack, 1.5 hours.
In the afternoon.
After, so, well, no, I mean, and end it by noon, so 8 to noon or something like that.
that sounds good. So Saturday, we're gonna have to come up with a snazzy name for that.
Yeah, yeah. And we can talk about that, and we can talk about it Friday when Denise is here, and go ahead and get it scheduled, and go ahead and get,
Mhm.
cause we're like, a math day, then a reading day, and a writing day,
Mhm.
and then, of course, science and social studies feel neglected. You'll have a science day in there, because that still helps our domain 3.
Absolutely. it
And we
does.
can't, we're looking at domain 1, but domain 1 affects domain 3, domain
Yeah.
3 affects domain 1, so we can't just throw science and social studies to the side, so.
Anytime you throw your focus on something else, then something else
Mm-hmm.
dips.
Yeah, sure will.
Yeah,
So-
it happens all the time.
We'll sneak, but we can go ahead and get those scheduled and start planning for those.
That's
But
neat.
sounds good.
Okay,
All right. Well, thank you,
I
ma'am.
appreciate your time.
Thank you. I appreciate all you're doing. Trust me, it's been a huge help. I know Amanda's relieved.
She's a delight.